Well, apparently the Erik and Lyle Menendez brothers do have a new shot at freedom, because we understand from the Associated Press that the judge has agreed to resentencing, and we actually have some numbers involved that actually could lead to parole.
Yeah, 50 years to life is what the Associated Press is reporting. We're going to go to Jasmine Veal. She is at the courthouse and has been there in the courtroom, and you're with Tom Waite as well. So what can you tell us?
Yeah, Ruta Bay, Pat, this is another shocking twist in the Menendez case, because just minutes ago, Tom Waite, he was up there in the courtroom. This was supposed to be a 2-day resentencing hearing. The judge making that decision just moments ago. Tom, tell me about it.
It was super, super intense and dramatic inside that courtroom. I mean, you could hear a pin drop when the judge was ready to make his resentencing decision. As you said, 50 years to life, which means they are technically eligible now for parole. But oh my gosh, the lead up to it was really, really powerful too, because you had both of the Menendez brothers speaking before the court. And at one point, Erik's feet actually died, but we'll get to that in just a second. Lyle spoke first. He was very emotional. He talked about feeling that he knew that it was not justified, the murders, that he took ownership and responsibility for it. I'm just going through my notes, which are very difficult to read here, but no excuses, no justification. The choice to not ask for help was my choice, he said. To point the gun, to reload the gun, he said, these are my choices. I take responsibility. Now, it was interesting to hear him say that, because one of the primary, if not the primary, argument from the DA's office was that the brothers did not take responsibility for their crimes, but they did say over and over again, I did this. I am sorry. I know I robbed my parents of a full life. I know that this is my choice. Those are things. And during this time, Lyle was very emotional. The family could be heard crying. There was you know, people were wiping their noses. They were getting choked up. I could hear them. I was sitting about a row, not a row, like just a few feet over. Away, I was sitting with them at one point when I first got into the courtroom. I was seated with them, and I realized very quickly.
And here comes Garagos.
There we go. Yeah.
So we're going to listen to what Garagos has to say, their defense attorney.
Okay.
Poor Diane with the walker.
Poor Diane.
Poor Diane.
Well, you know what it sounds, from listening to Tom Waite and Jasmine Veal there, according to what the brothers said on that videotape, they did admit to killing their parents, and they did talk about being remorseful, which is something that D.A. Hockman talked about. He didn't feel that they were remorseful. Let's listen to Garagos.
Couple of years. This month, actually, 2 years ago, and I don't know where Cliff went, but there he is. Hold on. Come here, Cliff. Come here. Only when Cliff gets up here.
Hey guys.
Cliff Gardner. 2 years ago, Cliff and I were talking about another case, and he mentioned the Menendez brothers, and it was a case that I obviously had followed, and he said he had prepared and he was about to file a pro per, believe it or not, writ of habeas corpus. 2 years ago, I said, well, you know what, Cliff, we talked about it. We enjoy working together. Now have an undefeated record, continue to have, and we decided let's do it. I don't think he, who does nothing but post-conviction work, or me, who I hate doing post-conviction work, ever thought 2 years later we'd be standing here after 35 years with this wonderful family who I've grown to love like my own family. And now we see the pot at the end of the rainbow, so to speak, or their freedom. I want to do a hat tip to Judge Jessic, who was able to cancel out all the noise surrounding this, all of the grandstanding, all of the political back and forth, and he did what the code section said he should do. He did what justice said should happen, and he struck the special circumstance, and he sentenced them to 50 to life, which means they're immediately eligible. There's for those who don't know, in a couple of weeks, there is already a clemency hearing set. There's also a response due in the habeas next month.
Yes.
Next month, and so all bets are still on. The resentencing has happened. I actually made a call. First call I made was to Leslie Abramson. I couldn't get a hold of Leslie. It went straight to voicemail. I have long admired Leslie. I think about her often in this courthouse, actually, because one of the last trials she did was in this courthouse. She did say something a number of years ago that no amount of TikTokers was going to ever change anything. And so I was calling to tease her. And so, Leslie, I will tell you, it's a whole different world we live in now. And one of the things that I think is important is to recognize that, like the legislature has done, we have evolved. This is not the 90s anymore. We have a more robust understanding of a lot of things. And I hat tip to the family, and I'll let them, after we answer a couple of questions, speak about what this means to them. I just know that on a day like today, that redemption is possible. And to those, you saw X-rated talk today, you saw kind of the ridiculous nature of the cross-examination. You can turn anything on its head. The fact is, the Menendez brothers have done remarkable work, and today is a great day after 35 years.
Did you talk to Erik and Lyle really quick after this? What's the reaction?
I told them to call me on their burner phone.
Are you disappointed that you guys don't have to face the parole board instead of him walking free tonight? Is there a little
I argued, and I still believe that they should be out.
Who are you?
Mark Garrigus, how are you? Hi. So I understand what's happening. The governor would only have that ability constitutionally if the parole board does it. Right now, what is pending is, because it's 50 to life, they're immediately eligible. The first thing that is set is the clemency hearing, which is, I believe, on June 13th. So the clemency board, and this is something new, will make a recommendation to the governor, and then the governor will take action either before or after. So, yes, Jim.
People thought, when you, around Thanksgiving, you said, I want them to be home by then, and people said that's never going to happen. You said they will be resentenced. This is a huge victory for you and for the family, clearly. What do you think a realistic timeline is now to finally see freedom for others?
I've said ever since my failed prediction of Thanksgiving dinner that 2025 would be their year. I mean, they got caught, ironically, they've been caught in politics 30 years ago in a DA's race. They got caught in politics now in 2024. And I'm hopeful now that Judge Jessic did what he was supposed to do. And I'm hopeful that now that the right thing will be done and they'll walk out. You know, they've got a family, and I think the takeaway for me today was that the family, this has become, their trauma has become kind of the subject of prurient interest. But they are a real family, real people who have lived through unimaginable horrors. And I'm hopeful and glad that we're one huge step closer to bringing the boys home. Thanks. Yes.
Are you concerned about this getting held up on an appeal if the DA's office appeal?
No, I'm not concerned with that. I think at this point, the record is such that the code section calls for this. This was from my mind, this was the minimum that they should get. It also, somebody mentioned this to me in the courtroom just now. This is a decision that I think will reverberate in the criminal justice system. One of the things that we have argued all along, and what the judge said today, the judge commented today, this is one of the most remarkable, and he used that term, remarkable transformations. And he said, while the crime was truly horrific and remarkable, The 35 years since, what they have accomplished is remarkable, with no hope. And we've said that since day one. And so with no hope, this encourages people who are incarcerated to make the right decisions, to take the right path. So it's just a win-win on so many levels. And I will let the family talk. I could not, yes.
Mark,
I have not talked yet to Joan, but I'm hoping I'll let the family say that. I'll let the family say that.
lighter? I need to smoke a cigarette. Mark, do you have a fucking lighter?
Hi everyone.
Mark,
This is a good day.
It's Mr. Hochman's PR person.
Mark,
No, can you do me a favor? No, I don't have a lighter. He does right there. Right. You're welcome. You tell Mr. Hochman does. He's right over there. He's hiding in the bushes.
We have a lot of thank yous today from the family. Mark Garagos, Cliff Gardner.
You're going to call me in 3 minutes?
Thank you so much. You have brought hope to this family that we didn't see coming.
You know, we would be remiss if I didn't thank Alexandra Kazarian, my partner who's here behind me, if I didn't thank Milena Blake and Mike Romano. There's Milena back there. I apologize for Milena. It's got to be tough to sit at the council table and have me there kind of bulldoze my way through. So I said I thank X-Rated for having to subject himself to that brutality, but most of all for the family. I just couldn't be happier for you guys. It really is tremendous. Thank you. Talk to them.
This is the step in the right direction, but is there any worry or hesitation at all about brothers facing the parole board?
Okay, yes. So, right, this is a step towards the parole process. Of course, June 13th, they will meet with the parole board. And, you know, in the state of California, it's a pretty stringent process. So we are very hopeful. I thanked Mark. I thanked Cliff. There's an entire legal team. But ultimately, we are here today with this result because of Erik and Lyle, because they chose to live their lives with clarity and a purpose of service that the judge was impressed by. And so a huge thanks to them, too, for being the kind of people that we could bring home.
What would you like to hear then? What is it like for you to hear the brothers speak in their own words and say in no uncertain terms what they did is horrible, they blame no one but themselves, they ask for forgiveness, and they thank the family, and they embrace you with the love of the whole family?
It was very moving. I think everybody in the courtroom was moved by that. They've said those words to me personally before. That was not the first time that I had heard them take full accountability for their actions, for the effect that it had on my life, and express that. So I'm glad everyone else got to hear it. I haven't talked to them yet. Yes. I couldn't really see. You know, I mean, they're on a screen, so I couldn't really see facial reactions, but I imagine that they will be pleased from today. You know? Yes, so for my Spanish-speaking reporters, you have a treat today, which is my cousin Marta is going to follow me, and she is going to speak to you in Spanish. So you'll get the full thing and answer questions as well for anyone who is talking and speak. And what's next? Well, we still have, you know, we have to go through the parole process, which is going to be very difficult for the family. That is a difficult process for the family to go through. We were certainly hoping for manslaughter, time served, so that we wouldn't have to go through this process, but we will eagerly step through those doors if that means getting them home. So also I want to say a thank you before I forget to Judge Jessic for being fair, for reading the law as it was written. Like Mark said, for not getting caught up in the drama of the situation, but for simply applying the law. So grateful to him as well. I am so happy that I wore waterproof mascara is how I'm feeling, because I have been crying all day long. So these are tears of joy for sure, and we're very excited.